Hello there and welcome back to another 2xKO video. This time on Illaoi the Kraken Priestess gameplay reveal trailer. So, I honestly thought we already had some gameplay for Illaoi, but I guess this is a proper and full reveal of her entire kit. I guess you could call them kits, right? Either way, I'm not too great with fighting game terminology, as 2xKO will actually be my first ever fighting game. Yes, I have been interested in Super Smash Bros, but I never really had a console to play it on, and now that I do have a Switch, I haven't really gotten to pick it up, as I kind of like caught up onto other franchises like Pokemon and Mario, and I never really got into any of the PC ones like Brawlhalla, for example. So it's going to be interesting, especially since this is not really in the same genre either. This goes more towards a normal fighting game, kind of like Mortal Kombat or Tekken. But the developers have been saying until this point it's going to be very accessible to newer players, so it's going to be interesting to see how my new player experience to the genre in it of itself will be. Either way, let's see what Illaoi can do. Wow, those attacks have some weight behind them. Whoa. Okay, the tagging attack. And she can summon tentacles to attack. Okay. Interesting. Whoa. And she literally summons Nagakiboros, I think it was?
Hey everyone.
Like this, so like I'm guessing that this is the ultimate or so, like what you would have as a final move sort of deal, right? This is literally like a ginormous Kraken. Holy. And it's if I recall correctly, Nagakiboros is what they what they have as a goddess. I'm not sure if properly, or it's just a gigantic sea monster, I don't remember. But this is cool. I cannot wait to see everyone else's like ultimate stuff, especially after development, because yeah, I think there might have been some shown off before, but you have to realize that now after a long development time, who knows how those are going to look. But yeah, there's a bunch of commentary. I think maybe the rest of the video is entirely commentary, so let's take a look at that.
Caroline, game designer on 2xKO, here to give you an update on the latest addition to our roster, a champion who will be available to play for the very first time at this year's EVO Japan, Illaoi the Kraken Priestess.
I still wish they would be doing some form of like online tryouts or online sort of demo, because I'm like halfway across the world from Japan.
As the prophet of Nagakiboros, the great Kraken, Illaoi's faith demands that she take control of her own destiny by always moving forward. She wields a golden totem to test the will of her opponents and summon tentacles.
Okay, so describing what her character is all about within the League universe.
Is a heavy-hitting juggernaut who overwhelms enemies with pressure as unyielding as her faith. She's all about landing big hits and dealing big damage.
Yeah, it's literally it's very visible within her animations. They have that, you know, the weight and the weighty feel of hitting someone with a gigantic golden idol in her animations. They look really good. Well, in general, the animations for this game look really good.
Then, using tentacles to lock her opponent down and combo out of control. Her kit revolves around summoning and activating sphere tentacles. First, she can use any of her S2 specials to spawn a tentacle. Then, she can use any of her S1 specials to trigger a tentacle follow-up attack, as long as her opponent is within that tentacle's splash zone. Even if
and you can literally see the splash zone on the ground.
Tentacle splash zone.
Oh? I'm going way too a bit further back. Yeah, you can see this, if I that out, you can see this like cyan circle. That's the splash zone of the tentacle.
As long as her opponent is within that tentacle's splash zone. Even if her opponent isn't in range, Illaoi can use certain moves to teleport the nearest tentacle to them. She can also use Prayer of Motion or Prayer in Stagnation to activate tentacles from a distance. While tentacles are an important part of Illaoi's kit, she's not a puppet character. We didn't want it to feel like her tentacles were doing all the fighting for her.
That is a very good point. In League of Legends, her tentacles have quite a big impact in the gameplay because, especially during her ultimate, however many tentacles you have around you, the more you do, the more damage you deal, the more healing you get and stuff like that. While she's still a bruiser character, a juggernaut in League of Legends, she does feel that tentacles are way more important than her own general feel. But while here, it's nice that they go ahead and have a much bigger focus on the general strength and attack of the character itself.
Instead, they're like rewards that Illaoi can earn by playing well. It means always staying in motion
cool way to do
and
it.
taking smart risks to take control of the game. Illaoi can also lose tentacles if her opponent hits them, in which case Illaoi can still do big damage, but she does lose access to some of her strongest neutral options. This means
so it's a high risk, high reward sort of deal
to engage her opponent, which isn't ideal. In development, there was a lot of debate around how tentacles should work. Should they be a true extension of Illaoi? Should they be completely independent of her? Both of these options felt very sink or swim, so we opted for a more balanced route where Illaoi can activate tentacles without making direct contact with an opponent.
Yeah, because here's the thing, if the tentacles are an extension of Illaoi, what I do understand by that is having the tentacles act at the same time as Illaoi, or possibly being able to be when you hit the tentacle, you deal damage to Illaoi, and stuff like that. Maybe she even has a limited amount of tentacles based on her HP, or she sacrifices HP in order to create a tentacle. And the other one, where the tentacles are independent, feels more like an RNG sort of thing, where maybe this tentacle spawns and attacks an enemy, or does this or this or that, you know? Where Illaoi doesn't really have control over them, other than maybe doing some attacks alongside her whenever she hits an opponent. Let's see what they say next.
But that opponent still has counterplay against them. Beyond her tentacles, we wanted Illaoi's kit to capture her incredible size, strength, and momentum, and her supers are no exception. With her S1 super, Crashing Waves, Illaoi picks up her opponent, swings them overhead, and slams them into the ground twice. If she already has a tentacle up, holding S1 will reposition it so that she can stay on the offense after her super ends.
Okay, interesting.
Her S2 super, Wrath of Nagakeboros, summons giant tentacles that smack the ground around them. It also turns any tentacles that were already active into giant tentacles.
So, I know that in this image, Echo is crouching from the looks of it by blocking. But do you see how gigantic Illaoi is compared to Echo? Like, seriously, look how big she is compared to him. Wow. And I'm not saying it in a bad way, it's just surprising to see two characters that generally have nothing to do with each other, one being a small, nimble character, while the other is a big juggernaut, right? And the comparison between them.
And leaves one behind after it ends. It can be an extremely impressive move, but if Illaoi or her duo is hit at any point during the super, her tentacles will disappear. So it's safest to use against an opponent who's knocked down. Finally, Illaoi's ultimate, Test of Spirit, sends her opponent's soul to the depths, where they'll come face to face with Nagakeboros. We love the idea of Illaoi smacking the spirit out of her opponent and beating it up as an homage to her kid in League. Test of Spirit is a mid-range move with super fast startup, which makes it great for ending combos, as a whiff punish, or for hitting an assist that's far away.
I really like this. Like, I'm so excited to see what other ways different characters will have references to their kits in League, because not all characters will have League kits that would translate that well into a game, into a fighting game, right? There are characters like, you could say Ari could by having lots of range attacks. Yasuo could because well, he's a swordsman, and that's mainly what he does in League 2. Illaoi, because she just punches people and throws tentacles around. But I'm curious to see other characters in the future, if there's going to be any that generally wouldn't fit in a game like this. What about Ashe or Varus, who just have uber high range sort of attacks, and their whole deal is just being a ranged character, right? Because with a lot of mages, you could be like, oh, they do a very close-up magic attack whenever they do a melee attack, while having a lot of ranged options for the character, and sometimes high or low mobility depending on what character they are. For example, I could see Ryze be sort of could have, you know, the option of doing a very close range for his basic attacks, doing very close range magic, but also having a decent amount of crowd control possibility, maybe even being able to teleport behind the enemy or something like that. It's going to be interesting to see what other characters are going to come after the game launches. Well, even when the game launches, because I don't think we know the full roster either.
It's also invincible on startup, making it a powerful reversal. Illaoi is pretty capable on her own, but her powerful assists make her an equally formidable tag partner.
And this is the interesting part, the whole tag partner system, because it's going to be something that you can do on your own. You don't need an actual second player. You can play as both characters, which is something really cool, because this gives you the possibility of either getting a friend and playing with a friend, or just going solo and actually being able to climb the ladder and stuff. I do wonder if there's going to be two separate ladders, if there's going to be one ranked queue for players who play as both characters, and one queue for 2-player teams, or it's going to be a single ladder and you're going to be able to enter it no matter if you're a single player controlling both characters, or you're going to be two players.
Her back assist is a
Why is there a
long-range
crab
tentacle
there?
strike, same as her S1 special. If there's already a tentacle in range of her opponent, it'll perform its usual follow-up attack. Illaoi's forward assist is the same as her S2 special. On its own, the assist is great for controlling mid-range, but using handshake tag immediately afterwards lets Illaoi swap in and use the
Wait, so there are assists that come in that call the other character in to do an attack, but you need to do a handshake tag in order to swap them. Okay, the combo potential in this game is quite insane, depending on what characters you have. That's actually going to be quite interesting. I always thought that doing an assist would bring in the new character in and keep them there, but I guess not.
tentacle she just created to keep the pressure on. When she's not on screen, Illaoi's tentacles stick around to offer her teammates an extra offensive support. Even when she's KO'd, Illaoi can use Last Stand to activate Wrath of Nagakeboros and send the opponent to Tentacle City.
Okay, interesting.
When choosing a tag partner for Illaoi, remember she wants to back opponents into a corner, but getting them there might be risky. Illaoi's ideal tag partner is someone with strong neutral and high mobility who can make space for Illaoi to engage.
The whole tag partner and assist system is going to bring an interesting type of meta, because you're going to be looking for different partners for different characters depending on what you want to do with them. I really hope the meta is not going to just end up being spam the same two characters, or let's say Illaoi's best partner would be Ahri, for example. Let's take what's happening here. And that's going to be the meta for the entirety of, well, the game's life cycle. I really hope that doesn't happen, and maybe as new characters come out, maybe Illaoi will have alternatives for partners. I'm not entirely sure how the meta is going to develop if this is the case. Because, again, that's the whole thing with meta. It's supposed to be the best tactic, right? So the best partner for Illaoi until something new comes out, or some buffs or nerfs happen. That's going to be interesting to see the buffs and the nerfs that are going to happen once stuff like ranked starts here.
Ahri is a prime example. Her speed and long range allow her to catch opponents that Illaoi can't always pin down. Her assists also help Illaoi extend combos or convert a defensive tag into big damage. Again, Illaoi will be available to play at this year's EVO Japan, along with Echo, Ahri, Darius, and Yasuo. If you're attending, try her out with or against your friends and let us know what you think.
Why Japan?
Otherwise, you can still sign up for at-home playtests happening later this year. And follow us on social
Yeah,
for all
right.
future
I forgot
Illaoi
that
updates.
happens.
Thanks for watching, and see you next time.
Thank you for the very nice presentation. I've read some comments saying that she's really good at presenting these characters, and I do have to agree. I do have to agree with that. I really hope she stays as the presenter for these gameplay trailers. But yeah, it's cool because it's not just, you know, the first minute, which is specifically just the gameplay trailer for Illaoi. It's actually going into what her kit is all about and what her character is all about. Usually you would have a gameplay reveal trailer that showcases her general just gameplay, and then you would have could you please start video? And then you would have another video later down the line where it's the proper explanation of what the kit is. But I gotta say, Illaoi looks awesome in here. All the characters look awesome. The art style they chose for the game looks amazing, right? The cel-shaded art style. It fits so well with both the fighting game and I feel like the League universe in general. I kind of hope they would choose an art style similar to this for the MMO once that happens in like 10 years. But yeah, what about Illaoi as a champion? Unfortunately, I cannot really talk from any form of fighting game experience. As I've said, I'm going to be a humongous noob once this launches and I'll start playing because I've never played a fighting game before. But she looks really fun, I gotta say. The whole playstyle that you can work around tentacles. You want a very fast partner that can actually take care of closing in on enemies. And also being able to push them in a corner, right? So you want someone who can take care of the faster characters in the roster. That is going to be interesting to see how the game plays out. But yeah, the video, like, for some reason I've tried to start recording this like 4 times by now, and every time the video had some issues, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's OBS, whatever, that's besides the point. So yeah, Illaoi looks cool. I'm really excited for the playtests. I really hope I get in, because I really want to try this out. But yeah, until then, I want to thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next one.